welcome the Prime Minister of Slovakia, Robert Fico.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate very much the opportunity to address you. I am the fourth-time Prime Minister of a small, proud country in the center of Europe, Slovakia. I would like to open my speech by paying honor to one of Slovaks living in the United States. His name is Michael Strang. Sergeant Michael Strang served in the US Marine Corps during World War II and commanded a squad of soldiers on the Pacific island of Iwo Jima. And it was the very same squad that raised the victorious American flag on Iwo Jima exactly 80 years ago on February 23, 1945. A photograph from that event became the inspiration for the Marine Corps War Memorial in Arlington. I was in Arlington today and bowed before Michael Strang's grave. In doing so, I paid my respect not only to him, but to all American soldiers who fought and died in the Second World War. The contribution of American troops to defeat the fascism is unquestionable. Please do not allow new Hitlers to arise. Please do not allow anyone to question the horrors of the Holocaust. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we can celebrate the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War by stopping the senseless killing of Ukrainians and Russians in Ukraine. The energy and determination with which your President Donald Trump has entered into the peace process in Ukraine is admirable. He has many supporters in Europe for his directness and for spreading the truth. My good friend, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, recently complained, with a smile on his face of course, that he has been trying to hold a mirror up to the European Union for years and that the process has been extremely slow. And then Donald Trump comes along and manages to do it in a matter of days. If you will allow me, I also join Viktor Orbán in this complaint today, again with a smile on my face, of course. If there is one thing Europe needs today, it is the truth. If there is anything Europe needs ever more, is the diversity of opinion and respect for it. The politics of only one single correct political opinion is devastating us and has serious practical consequences. If you go against the current, you are excluded and punished. Between 2020 and 2023, criminal law was brutally abused against the Slovak opposition, of which I was the leader. I myself was charged 4 times for political activity, illegally monitored and wiretapped. However, the institutions of the European Union remained silent because they had a submissive and vassal government in Slovakia. Ladies and gentlemen, no one is disputing that Russia's use of military force in Ukraine was a violation of international law. However, Russia had serious security reasons for doing so because it has long been misled on the issue of NATO enlargement. The conflict could have been brought to an end shortly after it began. The absolute majority of the European Union member states, with the exception of Slovakia and Hungary, have endorsed the idea that the war in Ukraine should be used to weaken Russia politically and economically. Ukraine has been the victim of a bad strategy. Today, it is evident that the limitless financial, military and political support, coupled with the anti-Russian sanctions, did not bring its effect. I was among those who warned against senseless killing, calling for ceasefire and supporting all peace plans. As a reward, I was branded a Russian agent. The word peace has been virtually unused in Europe for the last 3 years. Whoever spoke of peace was a warmonger. Whoever supported the war in Ukraine was a peace activist. Ladies and gentlemen, your president is doing Europe a great service. He is bringing truth, and we all hope peace back to Europe. The attitude of the major European players and of President Zelensky of Ukraine, therefore, comes as an unpleasant surprise to me. They are pushing themselves to the US-Russian peace negotiation table, even though for 3 years now they have and still do openly support the war in Ukraine. More and more, it seems that President Zelensky actually needs this war. When there is war, there cannot be democratic elections. Zelensky is particularly worried about that. Let us recall in what a favorable situation Winston Churchill lost the 1945 election in Great Britain. When there is a war, it is difficult to investigate where a huge part of the funding given to Ukraine ended up, where an enormous number of arms ended up. When there is a war, Zelensky knows that he has total support of the European Union. I say all this quite openly, as Prime Minister of Slovakia, a country which is bordering Ukraine. Yes, we have to recognize that peace is being negotiated at a time when Ukraine is very weak. That is also why the proposals may come out of the negotiations may not correspond to the idea of a just and sustainable peace for Ukraine and its territorial integrity. However, Europe should in any case help the US President to end the senseless killing in Ukraine as quickly as possible and not hinder him from achieving this goal. Ladies and gentlemen, I have spoken many times today about the truth, respect for different opinions. It is particularly dangerous when the response to a different opinion is not just to ignore or disrespect it, but when the opponents reach for radicalization and violence. Such dangerous radicalization is now typical for liberal and progressive ideologies, which in addition to this new quality of political conduct promote abnormalities in everyday life and present them as normal and healthy. Let the attempt to assassinate your president or me be the proof of my claim. I grew up in a regular family where my father worked as a worker in a furniture factory and my mother as a shop assistant. Our lives were dominated by straight talk, common sense, respect and consideration for others. I brought a strong social sense from my family, and as an ordinary person, I openly espouse all the values associated with a common sense and a normality.
Ďakujem ti za sledovanie. Budem rád za like, odber a sledovanie skupín, ktoré nájdeš v popise pod môjim videom.